What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, I said before, the Clippers, the way they believe in their young players, the way they motivate their young players is probably the best in the NBA. And Ty Lue has a lot to do with that. Ty Lue definitely has a lot to do with how the team is constructed and how they actually go about handling their business on the floor, whether they have their superstars or not. So to me, the Clippers are smart for investing in their young players simply because when you look at this team, it's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. It's a reason why they're staying afloat. It's a reason why they're actually playing the way they do. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. I mean, of course, they always say the next man up mentality, the fighter's mentality, the resiliency, and just the hardship of going out there, playing hard every night and understanding that's what needs to be done. I say the same things in these videos all the time, but I feel like the way the Clippers invest in their young players, unlike any other team, has given them more value than every other team in the NBA. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, you've seen this team overcome 35-point leads, multiple 20-point leads, multiple 20-point deficits, however you want to look at it. And they found their way on top, winning games. And they're still in the 8th seed. You know, they're still in that playoff play-in tournament type area, I should say, and they're still finding ways to be effective. And they're not the most talented team by far in the NBA, but they are the most resilient team in the NBA. And I feel like the way Ty Lue has believed in these young players and have given them a lot of confidence and have pushed them to be confident while they're out there on the floor has made this team a very solid team, more solid than any other team in the NBA. Because when you look at Amir Coffey, a player like that, for example, you don't think of him as a player that's up and coming, rookie of the year, or up and coming rising star type player, however you want to categorize it. Nobody looked at him that way. He was at the back or the bottom of the bench at some point. And of course, you got to say this as well. There has been situations where these young players have benefited from because of Kawhi and PG being hurt and unhealthy and other core players being hurt and not healthy. But at the same time, Ty Lue has put something in these young players' mind to where they can be effective. A lot of young players get a lot of playing time when the superstars are out, but they don't take advantage or seize the moment or seize the opportunity because they don't have the right head coach and the right staff around them to really push them to play on that level. And I feel like what Ty Lue has done, what he has brought to this team, and how he has willed this team to actually play continuously with a bunch of young guys on there, it's been amazing. Isaiah Hartenstein has been really good for the Clippers. Amir Coffey has been really good. And you look at, of course, you look at, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, you can, the list goes on, Brandon Boston, I'm saying they got Jay Scrub. I mean, you look at the young players they have on this team and how they've really contributed. It helps, Reggie Jackson's and Marcus Morris's and all the other core players and Nicholas Batum's and all them on the floor. You can add Zubac in there too, even though, he does show a little inconsistency at times. But I mean, for the most part, they believe in these young players, and these young players have really, really adapted to the belief in them. And they're really elevating their game every single time we watch them play. I mean, when you look at the Clippers, it's a reason why every night there could be another unsung hero that you don't think there would be. The other night, Terrence Mann comes out with a big game and dropped 25 points. The way he's played over the last couple months, you probably didn't see him having a game like that. Even though he has some games where he's played pretty fairly decent, but not having a game where his numbers really having an impact. But the other night he did. You've seen Amir Coffey in certain games where his numbers, he's dropped like 20, 30 points in several games where his numbers really had an impact. Of course, Luke Kennard, you can say enough. We can't say enough about Luke Kennard. This dude has hit some big shots, shot after shot, and he's been reliable for them as much as he could since he's been on the floor. And you have to really respect that when it comes to, what Ty Lue is implementing to these young guys and what he's teaching them and what he's getting them to do on the court. He's actually teaching them how to play basketball almost like a veteran player, and they're in rookie form. You see what I'm saying? And it's really amazing for what he's done and how he's got this team going and what the Clippers organization really really has done so far since Jerry West has been there. Since Jerry West has been there, they've been investing in players more, and they've put pieces there like Kawhi and PG that can help them win championships possibly as well. Something more that's happened way before, I'd say Jerry West was there, but definitely the whole organization needs credit in regards to what they're doing to these young players and how they're developing them, but also how they're believing in them. Because as I said in many videos before, even with Kawhi and PG out, not knowing when they're going to come back, they're still playing competitive. But when they do come back and they get some chemistry with these young guys, the Clippers are going to be a tough team because their young guys have played so much basketball and got so much confidence from their coach and has played and put up big significant points in games to help them come back and be resilient and have that fighter's mentality and put up big numbers while they're doing it. They're going to be just fine when Kawhi and them come back. I mean, when Kawhi and them come back and get some chemistry with these guys for real, along with the additions of Norman Powell and Robert Covington, it's going to be tough to beat this team because, like I said, their young guys are so seasoned and experienced, or getting that experience now because the big guys, the big guns are not there in Kawhi and PG, but also they're getting that experience because Ty Lue is allowing them to get the experience, but also be effective while they're doing it. Because I've seen many teams that have a bunch of young players on the floor and they just lose 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row, something like that. But they're just pathetic without the 2 stars. But this team right here is the only team that you probably can think of off top of your head that they're just as competitive, almost as if Kawhi Leonard and PG are still on the floor. I mean, it's crazy. Now, of course, their record is not going to show. They're in the 8th seed. They'd be in the 4th or 5th seed or higher if, Kawhi and PG were there or, something like that. But the competitive spirit and how these guys go out there with confidence. I mean, when I see Amir Coffey go out there and play, he shoots with confidence like he's Paul George. I see Terrence Mann go out there at times. He shoots with confidence like he's Kawhi Leonard. It's like, and the way he has them playing defense and understanding defense wins games, wins championships, even though these young guys are not mentally there yet, but he's actually teaching them how to be championship character type players, even though they haven't reached that status yet. And that's very, very impressive by Ty Lue. And that's very impressive by the Clippers organization, which they really don't get enough credit for because this team shouldn't even be in the 8th seed. If you look at this roster from top to bottom, you would say maybe 10th seed at best because Marcus Morris, shout out to him. Lately, he's been consistent. Lately, he's been holding it down, but he has his inconsistent ways. Nicholas Batum is older. Nobody really knew about, Kennard and Terrence Mann up until last year in the playoffs. And then when you look at, they just let go of Serge Ibaka and, before they acquired Norman Powell and Robert Covington, those are pretty much the core players they had. And, it's like when you look at the team in its entirety, you still got Reggie Jackson, but Reggie Jackson has always been a nice player, but not a superstar caliber type player. But I mean, last year was the best I've ever seen Reggie Jackson ever play. I mean, I've never seen Reggie Jackson play the way he's played, up until last year in the playoffs. But there again, who was he playing for? He's playing for Ty Lue. Ty Lue brings the best out of players that I don't even think they feel like they have in them until they are coached by him. So, and like I said, there's a few other coaches in the league, I'll say, that does the same thing or has the same type of mentality and criteria. But at the same time, Ty Lue is definitely one of those coaches that needs respect in regards to how he goes about doing his business and getting his players to play for him on a level of comfortability and a level of understanding the moment and having to go out there and execute the plan. And that's exactly what Ty Lue has been doing. And these young players are definitely benefiting. I mean, Brandon Boston, I definitely see a lot of talent in him, but he doesn't play many minutes at times. But whenever his number is called, he goes out there, he plays to his highest ability, and he's productive, and it goes for other players as well. So, I mean, it's just very, very impressive what they've been able to do as a team. And I feel like them investing in the young players the way they have, not trying to be one of these teams going out and getting a bunch of old veterans like the Lakers. The Lakers pretty much got all veterans on their team besides maybe a few young players, and they're pretty much trying to win that way. The way the Clippers have invested in their young players, I feel like it's going to better their future, along with, Kawhi and PG staying there, because these guys are going to be more seasoned, more energetic, and they're going to be, right where they need to be in championship form by watching the Kawhis and PGs out there lead by example and, following those guys when they get back. So definitely been an impressive thing what the Clippers been able to do, but it's definitely underrated the fact that the way they've been investing in young players and how they've gotten young players to understand this process in a very short time. And they're actually winning games that most people think they shouldn't even win. Because like I said, when you look at that roster from top to bottom, you would say maybe a lot of people might actually say they're a 10th seed or something like that. They wouldn't be a playoff caliber type team. And think about it, the latter part of this season is coming after the All-Star break. If they find a way to go on 3 to 5, 6 game winning streaks a few times the rest of the season, they might actually end up in the 7th or 6th seed. I mean, it's very possible because, like I said, with their resiliency and how they play and how they understand each other on the court and how they play defense, it really helps them a lot. They just don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with a lot of teams. But it's funny, sometimes, they show that they do, because to be down 20, 25 plus points and come back and win a game like that, you do have good offensive firepower, or at least it's decent enough. It's just that their defense is really good, and their defense is really underrated as a team as well. So, I mean, I'm not saying their offensive firepower is the best, because of course it's not without Kawhi and PG. Of course it's not, but it's good enough to win games because their defense is good as well. And Ty Lue has them learning the basics, the little things, where to be, how to draw fouls, understanding situational basketball, the little things that you could teach young guys. And if they're willing to learn, it definitely makes the process easier. And whatever Ty Lue does and whatever he's doing, he's making these guys feel comfortable and they're wanting to learn his system. And when you have people who want to learn your system and how you play and how you coach and what you expect out of them, well, that's the reason why the Clippers are still afloat, even without their two superstars. That's why they're beating good teams certain nights, even without their superstars. They can't keep it consistent and win 6, 7, 8 in a row because they don't have their superstars. But getting quality wins builds their confidence more and more to where they might go on a 5, 6 game winning streak during the latter part of the season, and that might put them in better contention than what they are now. And see, that's exactly what Ty Lue is implementing. But at the same time, these guys are learning it. They're soaking it up. You definitely got to be proud of what you see from the young guys, because if the big guns come back with the way these young guys are playing, they can definitely knock anybody off in the West and go to the finals. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Khaliis out.